Hello, good morning, good day, good evening, good whatever it is for you. Welcome to the TTP Field Manual. This is your hot new favorite Warhammer, tabletop, RPG, all of that jazz podcast. I am your host, Joshy. With me as always is my best boy, Jonny. How are you, my friend?
Oh, I'm pretty glad to be here.
Me too. I'm glad you're here.
At long last.
At long last. There is some distance between us, so I was really feeling your absence more than usual, but now we're back.
Back and at it again.
Yep, squeezing a nice little recording into me big holiday break, but you are business as usual. It's been hard to pin down a good little recording time, but here we are.
We manage when we can manage.
Well, you're going to be off the hook because for the next rest of August, quite possibly, we won't be able to do any more recordings. Woo!
You say that like it's a good thing.
Well, it's a good thing for the small bit of stress of trying to figure out a time to record, but no, it's bad, Jonny. I'm sad. I want to talk to you about Warhammer all the frickin' time, Jonny.
It's okay. We'll have a couple of weeks to save up some good old stuff to talk about, eh?
Yeah, today we're going to be talking about another Codex review. Y'all seem to dig in deep to these Codex reviews we do. Today's going to be on the Space Woos!
Oh, woo!
Oh, but before we get into that, show notes?
Show notes. Hey everyone, check us out at the Instagrams, the YouTubes now, Discord. Do all the things, click all the links, spread the love. We're growing as quickly as we can do it.
We have a landing page. I put together a little, what do you call it? A website. That's what you call it, Jonny. I put together a little website via our podcast hosting platform, Captivate. Thanks, Captivate. And it looks quite pretty. It's got all of our links in there. It's got links out to the YouTube, the Instagram, all the descriptions of our episodes, no matter the platform you're on. We'll also have the links to things like the Discord and the Instagram and the YouTube. It's going to be in there. Check us out, hang out, do those things. Like and subscribe and ring the bell. Always wanted to say that, Jonny.
I know, right? It's exciting stuff.
But we are predominantly still a podcasting focused mob. YouTube, like a little cherry on the top. You'll find the podcast on there. Some of our friends don't really use podcasting apps. And they said, but boys, you're not on YouTube. Well, now we're on YouTube. Video support in terms of actual, imagery and the like. Maybe not just yet. But if you prefer having things on in the background, there you go. And if you are on podcasting apps, please rate, share it with your mates, all that jazz.
Check us out.
I'll check
Things
you
are
out.
looking up. The future is bright, and we're going to keep pushing. I have a question for you, Joshy.
What's the question, mate?
How's your hobbying been?
What fucking hobby, mate?
You're like, I'm in Europe. I don't hobby over here.
I mean, you say that, but there are some days where, the family I'm with have to do stuff. And so I have time as if I were back in me home. So I've still been putting together some notes and scripts for our episodes, put the YouTube channel together, the website. That's been my hobbying, Jonny. But between you and me, buddy, I think I'm going to the Warhammer store tomorrow.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah?
Gonna pick up some stuff and some things?
Yeah, quite possibly, mate.
And which of your many projects are you thinking of picking up models for?
Ooh.
Is it a whatever tickles your fancy moment, or is there something in particular you're looking for?
I think something to go ahead and marry up with what your hobbying's been up to that might be my direction.
Oh, we finally gonna do it.
We're gonna finally do it, mate. How's your fucking hobbying going?
Oh, I'm building a boat right now.
A boat? Are you doing a World War II history tabletop game?
Oh, that sounds awful. Why would you even suggest such a thing? No, I'm building a Caradron Overlord's boat. We're getting into
You
Sigma.
doing what? You're doing what?
We're doing Sigma things.
We're Sigma, man, Johnny.
I still need to finish my armies on parade. This is just a slight step on the wrong side of the line, alright? I promise you, I am still painting Magnus.
Speaking of armies on parade, I misunderstood the whole timeline of armies on parade. When I return from my holiday, I can finish my Sisters of Battle army on parade.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do some serious hobbying days. The actual
Sure will.
games might have to take a slight break for a couple of weeks so we can push through some armies.
Yeah, my Age of Sigmar army will, have to wait a bit.
No, it's alright. We can call it a celebration, right? We'll celebrate getting our armies in by changing games.
I have done a bit of list building, actually. Uh-oh.
List building?
Yeah.
Oh.
I wanted to figure out what I need to get my Eldari force to 2k and my re-emergence of an obsession with the Raven Guard. Can't imagine what that's about.
Oh, yeah?
Has led me to look into my collection of Marines and think about what can be separated from my Librarius task force in the making and become a Raven Guard force. And for both of those armies to reach 2k, Johnny, I don't need that many things.
Ooh. And what is it that you need?
For my Eldari, all I really need, that I also want, is Fugan with a squad of fire dragons, a falcon so that they can ride around in, and another troop of harlequins. Hee hee.
Oh, more Harleys, eh? I'm honestly surprised.
Well, for 2k, I don't really want to, they're not my gaming army per se, but I want to be able to play with them. And I have some Harlequin characters. One of them has no one to lead. And after adding Fugan, dragons, and a boat, there's coincidentally the exact amount of points for a small size unit of Harlequins.
Nice.
Yeah. And then for my Raven Guard, basically I just have to build and paint most of the Space Marines that I just have lying about and add the couple of epics, Kai Van Shrike and the new big boy when he arrives on the scene, and maybe a Storm Speeder, and then we'd probably be there at the 2k.
Awesome. And then...
Just kidding. The list has Canis Rex and a Calidus Assassin.
But boy, you know that Canis can't keep being where he is. They have to reduce him to a pile of trash eventually.
Nope.
But he's so dominating.
He really is. He's in all the Tournament Imperium lists. It's kind of outrageous.
It's kind of insane. It's night season if there has ever been one.
It's just him. He's fighting a lot of frickin' battles.
It's really concerning as a Chaos Knights player that nerfs are definitely incoming because we've kind of taken over the game.
Hey, even non-epic hero Gatling Despoiler is making a lot of allied unit additions to Chaos armies at the moment. Death Guard even. People with that frickin' army are still taking a knight.
Imagine all their options and they have to still ally.
It's just fun, isn't it?
Just enjoy it while it lasts, I guess. Because no one else is enjoying it. It's, can I beat the knights?
You did. You had a game recently where you mirror matched the knights. You want to talk about it? Then we'll get into the actual topic of today.
Sure. I played Dreadnoughts into Infernal Knights in a clash between me and one of our friends in one of the bloodiest robot battles that I've ever had the unfortunate end of, the stick.
Michael Bay would be proud.
My dice were abysmal. It was silly, some of the things that I was failing.
What's new with you?
Absolutely let down by my dice, which resulted in me getting completely tabled on turn 5. But lucky for me,
you won.
I still won on the points, because Dread Knight is silly because you can sticky objectives and move on.
Did it feel bad to lose all of your knights?
Oh, it sure did. Things were looking so good for the first 3 turns. I was like, oh yeah, I've got a pretty dominating position of the board. And then it went from 1-to-1 trades to 2-to-1 trades. And I was looking at my list, I'm like, uh-oh, he's killing more than he should be right now. Oh no, how do I pull back on this? And it was just lucky that I had 3 sticky objectives that managed to score me points even after I got wiped off the board.
Don't underestimate being a bit sticky, eh?
That's it, eh? No, it was a hell of a fun game, honestly. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I hope my opponent did as well. He seemed pretty happy that he got to table my knights, which have been a little dominating in our little local meta. So it was a win-win, I guess. I got to win another game. He got to kill some knights. I got to play with new models, aka my Cerastus knight that I 3D printed as a prototype until I can justify buying a Cerastus knight.
It's a cool knight that you put together. It really is.
It is. Harkens back to my old days of playing Necrons, which I thought you would appreciate.
Yeah, got a heavy death ray on the arm of your knight, and I was a big fan of that.
Yeah, right? No, I thought you might be.
No,
it was really fun. It was a fun game.
Hell yeah. Are you prepared now to have some fun talking about your favorite of the Space Marines?
Ex-favorite of the Space Marines.
Ex-favorite? Come on. All right, Johnny, we're going to get into Space Wolf Codex. What we're going to do, we're going to do a quick elevator pitch of who are they and how do they play on the tabletop, and then you can give me your first impressions, huh? Do you want to do the pitch or shall I do the pitch?
Oh, nah, you're doing the pitch for this one.
Oh, listen up, people. That soundbite's going to be here a lot. Not ignore that. I'm just going to say I'm sorry. I'm sorry ahead of time for all the...
There's going to be some wolves.
We're going to be having a howling good time.
Oh, man, we got to go there again when you get back.
Huh? Okay, I'll unpack that later. So, Space Marines, you know them. You've played the game. You've seen them in the shop. Space Marines come in many different varieties. It's like energy drinks, so many flavors. Space Wolves are one of the OGs, the original first founding mob, one of the original 10, 11, 9, whatever, loyalist Space Marine legions. Space Wolves are always a little bit separate, though. Space Wolves, they kind of, they sort of see reality a little bit differently. It's not space, it's a big ocean. It's not spaceships, it's vessels on the big, void sea, They're a little bit, atypical of Space Marines. They don't have psychers, they have, runic priests. They still like to drink and recount deeds of glory. They are exactly as you would imagine Viking Space Marines to be. There's not exactly a whole lot of nuance to them. I guess you could sort of point out, some of these characters have a bit of conflict between duty and honor, and maybe they're a little bit insecure sometimes. Classic, hero and epic tale stuff. What does this mean on the battlefield? Well, when you're actually playing 40k and you're bringing Space Marines, you can bring many, many different types of infantry and vehicles. Space Wolves have a pretty juicy, whole subsection of Marines that's just for them. They are going to be aggressive. They're going to look a bit barbaric and Viking-esque. They have literal wolves that fight alongside them. They have lots of, bone charms, wolf pelts, long scraggly beards, runes in their armor. They look cool. They really, really look cool. And this is going to translate to a bit of a play style of being relatively up in your face, swinging them frosted axes and controlling the battlefield with those wolf units. How was my elevator pitch, Johnny?
Mate, they have all the flavor. I will not fault them for that.
They got the drip.
They have all of the drip.
What are your impressions of these boys, Johnny? You seem a little bit sour on them in our chats before we hit record.
Oh man, their lore is so cool. I'm a big fan of the Viking-esque aesthetic, both because of my own heritage and also just because it's such a cool little look. I love all the bony bits, the wolf pelts, the runic charms, the icy landscape that they come from. It's even the Space Marine hunting, headhunters vibe is so cool. I just found that it was a difficult list to build and rules to read. It suffers from Space Marine-itis, in my opinion. But no, I can't say anything too bad yet. The actual like aesthetic and all of that is so cool. And it's why I've ranked them so high when we did our Skag rating. Go back and watch that if you're interested.
Not those first episodes where we were learning what to do. Oh dear.
Hey, just because we didn't know how to record didn't mean we didn't have opinions.
We had some very good, worthwhile opinions.
Yeah, that's our opinion.
And you can quote us on that. You had some good takes there. I think, if anything, with the Space Wolves, you could run these folks maybe a bit more entirely Space Wolf than maybe some of the other successor. So,
Feel you have to, for the most part. Like, they definitely, when you play Dark Angels, you can definitely run Dark Angels without all the Dark Angels things. But when you're playing Space Wolves, you are leaning into the fact that you are Space Wolves.
yeah, of the supplementive Space Marines. So you got Codex Space Marines, and everyone can borrow from the vanilla stuff there. You've got Dark Angels, Blood Angels, Black Templars is just hitting pre-orders now. They seem pretty fun. We'll talk about them. We got Deathwatch online, PDF only. We've got Space Wolves. Space Wolves, of all of them, seem the most complete as their own force, I would say. I made a whole, Space Wolfy list with, not too much difficulty for choice.
Yeah, I also made a very Space Wolfy list. And a big part of that was, 1, Space Marines have so many things. And 2, it's the Space Wolf episode.
Yeah. So, my friend, we can quickly gloss over the release wave that they just had. We could even talk perhaps about the army set and even the combat patrol and what the discounts on those are. And then we could even talk about things that still exist from their prior release waves that you will find in their Codex Supplement. And heck, I even have a list of what's missing if you want.
Oh, yeah. All right, let's do it. Let's talk a little different to some of the other ones we've done. Let's talk release waves.
So, shall we just talk about what actually came out, not necessarily their rules yet? Or do you want to sort of go bit by bit, model with rules? What do you want to do?
Let's focus on what has come out now, and we will discuss the individual rules as we go. And then we can tie it all together with what's left before discussing detachments as an overall, because a lot of their detachments aren't as uniquely focused as some of the others, in my opinion.
I get you. Who should we talk about first, and why is it Santa Claus?
Santa Claus left his sled at home.
He sure did. He's walking now.
But he has friends. He brought the reindeers still, so it's okay.
Logan Grimnar. Hot damn. What a model.
Man, up there for one of the better models that have come out this year, for sure. Why does he look like a Primarch?
He's got the stature of one, but that's mainly because of his tactical rock and 2 wolves. But for all intents and purposes, he is somewhat Primarchy. He's got the reputation, he's got the career, he's got the pedigree. Logan Grimnar is him. He is chapter master of the Space Wolves. He is the old wolf. He's got a literal bloodthirster's, greater demon of Khorne as their axe is his personal weapon. He's got 2 dire wolves, which, are closer to modern day rhinos than they are actual wolves. They far out.
I don't understand how we get all these chapter masters and this guy is just so over the top.
It's because he's meant to be emulating Russ.
They couldn't give us Russ. They had to give us the next best thing.
Look up, Johnny, Rogue Trader Era Lehman Russ.
Oh no.
I'm not joking. You'll see what I mean by this guy is meant to be Russ. When the game first came out in the 80s or whatever, Rogue Trader, the lore wasn't really set in stone as it is now. Primarchs were not gone into myth. And there was a model for Lehman Russ.
Yeah, there
is.
And
does he not look silhouette-wise like Logan does now?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, sure. As far that model, oh man, Warhammer. Every time I go back this far, Warhammer has come so far.
Have you seen old Magnus, by the way? Like what he used to look like?
Yes, I have. It's a shame. It's a shameful thing to witness. Honestly, all four of them are a little like that. This model is sick.
Yeah.
And it's much better than Santa Claus.
Yeah, I was so pleasantly surprised when they revealed him. I'm like, oh, they're doing it. He's a whole diorama.
I just wasn't expecting a Chapter Master diorama after what had been received previously for other legions.
I believe we were talking about the rules later on, but I just want to point out that the wolves that are on his base have a melee profile with the label extra attacks.
Well, we did say that we would discuss the rules as we went through the models.
Oh, right. I wasn't sure if you meant that way or a different way, but yes, cool. Yeah. I do have notes, like a quick sentence or two for every single unit on the datasheet, and then I gave them a report card score.
Oh my god.
Trying something.
I don't mind him. I won't lie. I like his stat block, but it feels weird.
I just want to interject real quick to just sort of point out the army rule real quick. So Space Marines have Oath of Moment, where you can pick a unit each command phase, and then your whole army gets reroll hits on them. If you're playing vanilla Marines, you get +1 to wound as well. Space Wolves, they don't get that. They're meant to be strong enough on their own to not need that +1 to wound. There is some keyword limitations. Certain units such as Apothecaries and the Firstborn Tactical Marines cannot join Space Wolves for whatever reason. And a lot of the Space Wolf units don't interact very well with the vanilla Marines. There's not a whole lot of leader synergy between the two halves of Marines.
There sure isn't.
No. And compared to actual Space Marines, a lot of the Space Wolf units actually move a bit quicker as well, with a bit of an extra pip or two of movement. But that's kind of it. And we'll talk about the unique qualities as we go.
Yeah. I love that this guy counts as 4 infantry models in a transport. I think that's hilarious.
Him, his axe, and his 2 dogs.
Yep.
110 points, though. He isn't as expensive as I was expecting, to be honest.
Yeah, but frankly, he doesn't do amazingly. Like, I think the points are good. I don't think they should have cost too much more.
Nah. But Logan is a wicked disruption tool. He has a bit more wounds and attacks than some of the other epic heroes, but I don't actually think you prioritize using him as a beat stick, at least not at first. You can maybe put him with some bodyguards so that they can soak up some wounds. But Logan has 2 insane abilities. He's got the High King of Fenris, where he gets to manipulate the strategic reserves rule, and he can actually bring in a unit 1 turn earlier than normal. So you could actually have more of an alpha strike with Terminators from Deep Strike, which is really spicy.
On turn 1.
Yeah. Works quite well with some of the detachments we'll talk about. But he also has what's, known by a lot of the community as a Vect Aura. So if your opponent's units are near him, 12 inches to be specific, any stratagem, those detachment abilities that you target, he's just increasing the cost by 1. He's going to sap your opponent and throw a beat stick on turn 1. Not bad.
Not bad for 100 points. Well, 110.
I gave him an A.
And if he does get in melee, he hits like a truck.
Yeah, that axe is spicy. What would you give him? A report card. Let's do report cards, Jonny.
I would have to give him an A. He feels like a very good tool, but I don't think he is auto-include, in my opinion. But very, very good. So I'd have to say an A.
Cool. Brilliant. Anything else you want to talk about with Mr. Chapter Master Terminator Epic Hero of the Imperium Logan Grimnar infantry character? I'm just reading his keywords.
Nah, that's all I care about for him.
Cool. Are we sticking with epics?
Yeah. Let's talk about the next epic hero.
You're going to have to be a bit more specific than the next epic hero.
Well, who's next in line for the throne?
We could talk about his best friend, Arjac, if you want.
Exactly.
His personal bodyguard, Thor.
This dude slaps.
Dude is literal Thor.
I really like Mr. Arjac. He's probably my favorite model outside of Logan, obviously. But also, like, I kind of dig what he does on the field, too.
Big bonk stick.
Big bonk stick. This dude has a 4-up invuln save because he is shielded, and that's what their shields do. Storm Shield's real good. And then he has a huge bonk stick that he can throw, and that is the Foe Hammer. It is an anti-monster, anti-vehicle weapon that has assault at range, because why not throw while you're running?
It's got 6 inches. It needs assault.
And it has precision in melee, because when he wants you dead, you die. On top of that, he has the typical fight on death shenanigans for his whole unit. So he really wants to get into melee with friends. And if he's punching at characters, you get to reroll the hit and wound roll. This guy is an anti-character machine.
That will take out light vehicles on his way to your warlord.
Yeah, it will.
Yeah, I quite like him. I like his model.
The model's also really cool. I really like the dynamic pose that he's in.
He has a couple of options too from a model, doesn't he? He can either be like defensively posturing, or he can be throwing his hammer.
I like the throwing style.
Yeah, he's got little holes and stuff in his armor as well. That's quite fun. I can't see the sprue. Do you think there's 2 separate hammers?
No, I believe it's the same hammer.
2 different hands. He's got 2 different hand pieces.
Yeah. But no, this guy's sick.
I like him. I like him a lot.
He leads Terminators. He's cheaper than his boss.
I just noticed the detail with Arjac in the Terminators. The little like skull and crossbones icons that's on a lot of these models. The skull's a wolf skull. I didn't even realize that earlier.
That's cute, right? There's a lot of flavor in these models.
They done well.
Yeah. And even when you go back and look at some of their older releases, there's a lot of flavor in there. All right. Well, that's Arjac.
I didn't give him my report card score.
And what is his report card?
So Mr. Arjac for 95 points. I think that Foe Hammer is a fun weapon that will help the Wolfguard Terminators, punch up into big targets. But I think for the fight on death, like Arjac himself is a bit of a premium price for what becomes essentially a coin toss for them to fight on death.
Yeah.
And his Champion of the Kingsguard ability seems weird that he doesn't get to be assigned to the Wolfguard Headhunter unit.
Because they're not Terminators.
I know, but he's an epic hero. I don't think it should realistically matter. But I think because he doesn't have that, I think if he had the option to go with Headhunters, I would like him a bit more. But because he's a bit costly for the fight on death thing, I landed him on B.
Yeah, I'd give this guy a B for bonk stick. Because when you want him, he real good. But if you don't want him, you probably don't care. In the current meta, might be decent because all those rerolls mean you can potentially punch up pretty well into Chaos Knights and Imperial Knights everywhere. But even then, his weapons are still like strength 8. So you're still on 5s.
A lot of these units will get boosted up by their detachments that really love to throw out keywords, but we're just talking about stat sheets. But even still, he will threaten those knights.
That's it. Who's next on our list of epics?
Shall we go for Nigel?
Nigel Thornberry? Alright, let's do it.
Nihal? I'm just going to stick with Nigel. Nigel Stormcaller.
Yeah, sick model.
It's definitely null. But Nigel is
definitely
cool.
null.
I love the bird.
I'm a big fan of Psychers, even though they're not really anything in 10th edition. This guy has a lot of flavor. I dig it.
Njal Stormcaller. He is your top-of-the-line rune priest. He's not a psyker, Jonny. Far out. Space Wolves don't have psychers. Are you kidding me?
Hey, I see the psychic keyword on his living lightning witchfire.
I really like his stick. Like how they painted him. His witch stick or staff of the Stormcaller has all these runes etched into it. His whole armor set. I'm not sure from the paint job if they're engraved into the bit or if they were painted on, but he's got all like your classic, Nordic runes, Algus. That's the only name coming to my head at the moment. But he's got like actual runes. I think his cape's got some runes. He's got a big flying cyber raven. It's cool. I don't like his head though. I don't like his head.
You don't like his head?
I don't like his head.
Poor Njal. I mean, that's fair. I do like the beard. Like the hair, beard flow.
Oh, the beard's great. Maybe just shut your mouth.
Oh. He's fallen for the storms though.
When I see his face, all I can think is him gonna be like, ah! Whereas like Arjac actually looks menacing to me.
Yeah, for sure.
But Niall's cool. I like his ability set as well. Do you want to tell us what he does?
He zaps people.
He zaps people.
He's a psyker. He does shenanigans. He still has that 4-up invuln save because why would they make our lives easy? He gives assault. I actually really like his psychic ability. The first one is Windwalker. He gives ranged weapons in his unit, assault keyword, and whenever they advance, they get an automatic 6 on their advance, which means that this guy already has a movement of 7 and can just sprint up the board and then shoot everything. On top of that, his Tempest Wrath ability is interesting, I guess. It's very weird and wacky, and I could see some cool plays with it. He zaps people, and then they lose range on their weapons, which I think is really interesting. But no, this guy's alright.
He summons blizzards, yeah.
Yeah, the key thing is, this guy can lead Headtakers.
Uh-huh.
So when they have a target in mind, that target is gonna die.
I'm less hot on Nigel, personally.
Is it because of his face? You're just not a fan of his face?
Oh, it's not just the face, mate. But what did I have to say? I said here in my notes, I think he's fantastic to help get Blood Claws into the blending position. As well, I think popping Tempest into a gun squad just to reduce the range by 6 inches. It's okay, but it isn't really like potent when noticing that they still have a range of at least 12 inches, and the ability doesn't actually work on vehicles or monsters. So what if you're fighting knights? Like, he doesn't have an ability anymore.
Yeah.
And overall, like, I think with Grey Hunters, we'll talk about Blood Claws and Grey Hunters in a bit. Blood Claws are melee, Grey Hunters are hybrid. Grey Hunters would be okay as a mini Death Star, but I think with Grey Hunters, the unit's too expensive. And I think Headtakers don't benefit too much from Assault because they're a melee unit.
Because they're a melee unit.
So yeah, versing Knights or Death Guard, Death Guard make being in melee tricky. I'm just unsure of his potency, and I'm unsure where to put him into like a B- or a C+ kind of meta, depending, personally.
I gave him a B for Burr because he makes it cold.
I love your little little explanations of your ranking.
It's nothing to do with compatibility. It's how can I make them sound funny?
Maybe he lands in B- because I love the idea of sustain hits 2. Sustain hits 2 sounds really spicy.
Yeah, but he only gives sustained hits 1. He only gives assault to his friends. It's someone else who gives sustained hits. We will get to him.
Yeah. Well, that's Nigel.
Njal Thornberry.
Do we want to have an honourable mention to Ragnar Blackmane, who is the only Primaris scale Space Wolf model to come out before this release wave?
Sure.
Or nah? Yeah?
I mean, okay. I thought we were only covering this release wave, but sure, he's Primaris.
Honourable mention.
Yeah. Cool, go for it.
I love Ragnar. I think he looks very menacing. I think his tactical rock, as all tactical rocks do, looks a bit silly, but he looks quite ferocious and he will stand out, in the lineup pretty well. He's got that really large, like, frosted chainsword, which is neat. I'm a big fan of his top knot. I think that's a pretty intimidating top knot that he may or may not accidentally cut off with his chainsword if he keeps on like that. But, whoo, mate, this guy, he's my A+.
Ooh.
I think Ragnar is a fantastic addition to the units he leads. He will help Blood Claws really punch up into the elite units. And beside that, I really like the idea of a fast-moving Death Star Wolfguard Headtakers combined with Ragnar's sword, which could, potentially spike a whole unit just by himself.
This guy is pretty cool. I actually really like his data sheet. I'm not sold on the model, though. I know that you like it, and I can definitely see why, but I don't know. He just looks a little dopey to me. But that chainsword is super cool.
I do think he's dopey, but in that sort of way where he's maybe a little dopey that it comes back around to being cool. The tactical rock's the dopiest part to me, though.
I really wish they would come up with better ideas than tactical rock. Not everyone needs to be standing on a rock. What if I want to do cloud bases?
What if, Jonny?
I mean, don't steal my idea. It's my idea. I'm doing cloud bases.
Logan has a justifiable tactical rock. Ragnar, it's half an Aquila. Get off it. Get on the ground. When this model came out, the Space Wolves weren't really Primarisified, so he was going to be taller than them anyway. Get off the rock.
He's already top knot above the rest.
Can I just point out, though, I'm going to take this moment to shill a previous episode. A while back, I did a lore episode, friends, about 3 particular Space Wolves units. Logan, Arjac, and Njal. You can go listen to them if you want to hear about what they've done in the story. But I'm going to take this opportunity to mention that I'm also very close to putting out another one headed by this guy. And far out, dude's got 8 novels.
Hot damn. He's been around.
His own series has 6 books, and then he's appeared in 2 more.
Hot damn.
Hot damn.
Leave some room for everyone else.
Bloody hell, Ragnar.
No, he's cool. He's cool. His abilities are very neat. They all are very useful.
Charge.
Can't really say anything bad about him. He enables your melee units to really get in with Headtakers getting advance and charge, and Blood Claws getting reroll wounds in melee. And then the Bloodlust is also just super interesting lore bite that they've turned into part of the game with him getting more attacks on the charge. This guy is designed for one thing and one thing only, and that is to be a loyalist world eater.
Do you know what who he's killed in the lore?
Probably a lot of demons.
Or
did he kill Khan at least once?
No, he wasn't. He doesn't have a vehicle. He couldn't have killed Khan.
He does have a rhino.
His book series was early 2000s where power scaling was a bit odd. His nemesis was some Thousand Sun sorcerer, but in the modern setting, he is the guy responsible for Gaz being decapitated and then being put into his bigger body.
Oh, he killed Gaz.
He killed Gaz post War for Armageddon, and then Gaz became super juiced up at the same time. Ragnar was not doing great and had to become Primarisified to survive.
It's all Ragnar's fault.
Yeah, it kind of is. It kind of is his fault. He actually went through Space Marine depression when he found out Gaz wasn't dead, and then had to go, obviously, try and finish the job. Unfortunately, his best friend Wolfs didn't make the fight that followed. Yeah. Anywho, that's Ragnar. We have a bit of a choose your own adventure now.
I haven't given a rating for this guy.
You haven't? Give me a rating.
This dude gets A for attacks a lot.
I keep not expecting the little comment. Gets me every time.
I really wanted him to be worse so I could say that he was a C for on the charge. But he's too good to be a C.
He's really good. I was doing my notes. I'm like, what the fuck? I read his whole kit.
That leaves us with only a couple more named characters, and only one of them is still a man.
Do we want to stick with the new wave for now?
I was gonna say, I think they're all older models, so how about we jump to the non-named characters? One of which is very bloody cool, and the other one is typical Space Marine captain.
Hey, the battle leader's not too bad.
The Battle Leader is cool. He's got lots of fur. He has a shield and a power sword. But outside of that, he's kind of just a captain.
He's got very flowy hair.
And, he definitely does, yeah. And he kind of just does captain thing. I don't rate him high.
I don't mind him. I think
but he's alright.
Battle Leader is actually very good for his price point. Like, he's a cheap way to give your units like a sustained hits and rerolling ones and, that just good stuff. Probably going with the Headtakers, though. Get a bit of dev wounds going.
My problem with it is it's reroll the hit roll, which you already get against your Oath of Moment.
True.
And while the sustained hits is okay, I do like that he has the ability to be very melee focused or more ranged focused, so he does have that little bit. And still having that 4-up invuln save means that he is difficult to take down.
The 4-up, I believe, is the Halo.
That what gives it. A halo.
Yeah, I think the little halo on the backpack gives like a little force field.
Ah, that makes sense, I guess, because the storm shield just gives him wounds. 1 wound. Just one.
1 whole wound.
You get to block 1 bullet with your shield before it disappears.
Yeah, I don't mind him.
He's okay. But I do like the Wolf Priest. The model is really neat. I kind of dig it. It's got that, gross chaplain vibe, but instead of having a skull for a face, it's just a wolf in a hood.
I'm so confused by the Wolf Priest. Why was it not a dual build for Ulrik the Slayer?
Right?
So confused.
All they would have had to do is put a different head option in, right?
Yeah, maybe like an alternative beat stick. That's it.
Dual kits are
he's
great.
Got drips.
And he's cool. Yeah, he's got drip. Oh, yeah.
Lots of bones and fur.
Meanwhile, his data sheet doesn't sell me hugely, I won't lie.
Yeah, nah.
He's your typical, apothecary, brings back a bodyguard. He does have a little bit of play with their, army rule, because it wants wolf priests around.
Yeah, with the Wulfen?
Yeah, with the Wulfen, who we'll get there. This guy's cool, looks cool, but, you're probably running him mostly so that you can get an enhancement, because none of your epics that you're running can have enhancements. And he's pretty good at carrying an enhancement, I'll give him that much. But in terms of report cards, what do you give our 2 non-epic heroes?
Battle Leader, alright, as I said already, he gives some good little, generic buffs. He's going to be fun into the melee. Again, I think much like with our homie Nigel, I think if you put him with Grey Hunters, the unit's just too expensive. But in terms of a melee leader, I think he's good. He does his role well. Not many downsides. So I gave him a B+. The Wolf Priest, on the other hand, 70 points. Yes, you're bringing a model back from the dead each command phase, but 1 model at a time feels a bit redundant in this game. I think the ability to Litany of Hate, when you're making a melee attack, you add 1 to the wound roll. It can, definitely help both Grey Hunters and Blood Claws. But I think, overall, he might be a bit expensive for the kit that he offers.
Yeah.
If anything, I would consider him in the Beastslayer detachment, where he could gain the enhancement, you pointed out is a good role for him, allowing him to lead Wulfen. Wulfen have a stat sheet where they have a nice big invulnerables, save. They would then have a lot more survivability, and I think his returning the dead model would have a lot more payoff with them, and they would gain OC because of the priest.
Yeah. I definitely think it's weird that he doesn't have Wulfen leading by default, because that definitely feels like his niche. It's interesting.
Yeah, B- for me on Wolf Priest.
I give the Battle Leader a B for battle time.
Yep.
The Wulfen is a little harder for me to come up with a cool name for. Not gonna lie. There's not a lot he does that matches up with what I want, so he's just got a C for Crozius, because that's what his weapon is actually called.
I wasn't sure what you're gonna do with that one.
Yeah, I know. We always come up with something.
C for Pretend Chaplain.
C for, come on, do something.
He does something. I just don't think he's particularly memorable when he does his something.
but he looks sick.
Yeah. Should we go into infantry or elites after these mob?
Let's tick off their 2 battle line options so we can tick the box, and then we can talk about some of the more fun stuff.
Hey, the battle line's fun.
The battle line, actually having 2 battle line is nice. I do like that they have a ranged and a melee option, or I mean, as ranged as you can probably get. The points, though, are rough.
Ridiculous.
Like, absolutely silly. When you compare them to Space Marines, regular, intercessors, and you're sitting here at, more than double the cost for one of these, it's like, oh, that's difficult to justify, you know?
It's because they run in units of 10, not 5.
Yeah, and that's it, right? And one of them can go into a unit of 20, which is a big Death Star.
There's a detachment that actually works for that, though. Yay.
There sure is. Your Blood Claws are your big 10 or 20 mob of melee dudes. This is very similar to your assault intercessors, but turned up a little bit. They do have the ability to advance and charge baked in, and can definitely get some buffs from basically every single epic hero that isn't in Terminator armor, as well as the default ones. These guys are cool. They're neat. They're your typical intercessors, but with style.
They are really stylish, aren't they? Both of the mobs have, little wolf pelty things. They've got, fun hairstyles. They're chainsword. Some of them have runes. I don't know if they're painted or part of the detail, but there's the leader's got a lightning claw when it, in the blood claws box. Some of the chest plates don't have the Aquila. They have runes and skulls. The Grey Hunters, they're the more elite in the Space Wolf hierarchy. The Blood Claws are you're fresh off the block. You graduated from Scouts, be a Blood Claw. So they're a bit more rash and hot-headed. The Grey Hunters are your experienced mob, and they look
at 180 points for 10.
What I really like about both of these kits, though, is that there actually is a mix mash of armor types. You have some of the old helmets. You've got a couple of unique detailings that are obviously representative of some of the older Space Wolves that are still around. I think these are dope. They don't need a whole lot more bits to make them unique.
Yeah, for sure. And their actual unhelmeted options are some of the nicer looking heads in the game. But if you're going into battle without a helmet on, are you really looking to survive that fight?
Come on, Johnny. No hat, no play.
That's it.
If you're Australian, I'm sorry, I just traumatized you. Who are we talking about? Greys or Bloods?
Well, we started with the Bloods, so we pretty much discussed most of what they do. They're a big blob of dudes with pistols and chainswords. The Grey Hunters have a little bit more option in that you can run them with a little bit more in terms of what they get, because they are equipped with the carbines and chainswords. So they can shoot at a little bit more range, and these are your I want you off my objective monkey. But I mean, they're battle line. They're not super fancy, but they do what they need to do.
I like both of them. I'm usually sort of passing on battle lines. They're not usually so exciting. But these guys, yeah, actually, why not?
Yeah, they're cool.
Shall we get into reports?
Yeah. What do you got for me?
Blood Claws. So 135 points for 10. You have to do them in 10. These are your assault intercessors.
You can do them in 20, these guys, for 270 points.
Sure, you sure can. If you were doing a 10 blob of the generic assault intercessors, the Blood Claws end up actually a bit of a cheaper variant that exchanges the ability to remove threats from objectives to sort of a more of a max speed approach. Instead of trying to get people off an objective, these guys are moving up. They have the native extra movement, they advance, and they charge all at once. And they would be great for tying up units, but they're noticeably less offensive despite almost the identical loadouts, because you don't have that, re-roll things onto the objectives that the previous intercessor stat sheet would have. a 20 blob could be considered, I think, if you're versing those sort of T3 armies and then being paired with a leader for the reliability. Depending on who you're versing, I would give them maybe a B, like if you're versing Guard or Sisters or maybe even Tau, but B- into most other things.
Yes, but here's the thing though. They have a 7-inch movement. You stick them with Njal. Now you're at 13 inches of movement and then a charge. That's a 25-inch threat range.
Yeah. Do you remember when I said at the start these guys are primarily melee, secondarily board control? There you go. There he is.
21 dudes. That's some World Eater shit.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if these guys would be more World Eater or Emperor's Children. They're World Eaters.
I give them B for Blood for the Blood God because they're World Eaters. The Grey Hunters?
I think for 180 points, they are an interesting blend of the generic Assault Intercessors and the Ranged Intercessors. Their Cunning Hunters offer the wound rerolls, but they don't have that sticky or the target elimination ability of the generic Intercessors. The Grey Hunters do, however, wield the chainswords, and they have their rapid-fire carbines. Provided they close the gap to their target, the damage, I think, works out like roughly the same, if not better in the melee. But they have OC3. If they don't kill their target, the objective is still theirs. And compared to generic Intercessors at a 10 blob, you're only paying a 20-point premium for the Grey Hunter flexibility. I give them a B.
I also have to give them a B. They're fine, but we're giving them a B for bolt carbines because that's what you're running these guys for, is the fact that they can shoot.
You're killing me today. Yeah.
But yes, they're your shooty infantry. They get a B.
Mm-hmm. Cool. I like them. Not many duds in the pack so far.
Oh, they're coming. Don't you worry.
Is it the Terminators?
But next in the new wave of things, we have a couple more options in the Headtakers and the Terminators. Let's start with the Headtakers because these are the coolest new dudes on the block. These guys are sick.
I love these guys.
What a cool set of models.
Yeah, how often do you buy Space Marines that come with pets? Is this Stormcast Eternals?
These guys are really cool, and you have 4 options for running these guys.
Sure do.
Because you can run them with or without their pets. I think they have a really interesting little ability they do in game, which is that they let loose the wolves. So if there are wolves in this unit, they split off at the start of the game and become their own little unit with their own characteristics, and I think that's really cool. The Headtakers themselves are designed to kill. These dudes are scary.
I agree. They really are.
And there's so many good options for leaders to go with these to buff these guys even more.
Like all of the leaders?
Like all of the named characters. No, these guys are absolutely sick. The fact that the Hunting Hounds can like run over to another Space Wolf character and just add more OC to a point is also really cool. So if you're not quite controlling a point, they can go and play support with their 10-inch movement, which I think is also really neat. There's a lot of good little like thought plays you can do with this army, and I really dig it. Oh, with this unit, I mean.
Yeah, they remind me a bit of like the Necron Warrior box that comes with the Scarab Swarm. Like there's no real synergy between those two units. This one has a bit more. You know, you split the unit. There is that actual synergy. But after that, you know, they're not really tied to each other.
They're not. They really aren't. But it's kind of neat that they're all rolled into one little package, you know? It's weird that they don't have their own stat line. It's just like a neat little thing that happened.
It's because Fenrisian Wolves exist as a separate unit and stat sheet, I think.
But they didn't have to.
No, they didn't. But yeah, I like these guys a lot. These are a successor to the generic like Wolfguard unit of old. The Wolfguard have kind of become like, you know, the kind of like the command squad, if you will, the company heroes, following their various captains around. but I think like Wolf Guard became like Wolf Guard Terminators, and then they still needed like a non-Terminator unit, so they came out with this mob, and I think they really landed.
But I do have a question for you.
Yeah.
Why do these guys Storm Shields give invuln saves instead of wounds?
I don't know. I don't know.
It's so weird. It just makes zero sense in my brain. They were just like,
Let's see what the wiki has to say.
Why are they different? Why couldn't they just have the invuln by default? Would that have been too strong?
Let's see. I'm reading. You keep talking about stuff. I'll give you an answer in a sec.
Mate, I don't think there is an answer. The answer is they wanted them to sometimes have an invuln save.
Okay, there is a lore tidbit for why there could be an invulnerable save.
Okay.
You ready for this? You ready for this shit?
Am I ready for this shit?
No.
Or is this real? Or is this really stretching?
It's stretching.
All right, go on.
So Terminator armor, yeah. They have the thing called the Crux Terminatus. I'm sure you've heard of it.
Yeah, it's that symbol.
Yeah, it's the symbol they have. Now, the idea behind the Crux Terminatus is that it incorporates a little sliver, a little fragment of the Emperor's own armor. And when the whole like Space Marine power armor is activated, the like energy of the armor like bonds with the Emperor's little fragment, and that gives the invulnerable save in game. Like that's the whole Terminator shtick. You'll notice they T5 normally always, but with an invulnerable. Now, storm shields often are shaped like a Crux Terminatus. That's it. That's the whole explanation that I've found. And Johnny's just jumped off a cliff. Johnny's gone. I don't know if he's actually gone. He's not talking to me. I can't hear him. But it's really funny that you've gone silent after I gave that just abysmal explanation. Yeah, so the Crux Terminatus, you got that it's got the Emperor's armor woven in, and that the shields are somewhat shaped like it. That's the extent of the wiki entry on this thing.
That seems like a real stretch, but sure.
Yeah, they should have just kept it as Iron Halos give invulnerable saves, Storm Shields give wounds. That would have solved everything.
And then give them all an Iron Halo, right?
They do have an Iron Halo, look. They all have Iron Halos.
Oh, man. But then they would have had to give them the 4-up invuln all the time, even if they have paired weapons.
No, it's 10th edition. You would have to just tick the box that says you want the war gear option for free.
Yeah, and they can't have that, can they?
It's too difficult.
But no, these guys are absolutely cool. They are top of the line. This is as close as you can get to what you want out of this army. These guys are sick.
I'm a big fan of them, yeah.
So, what do you rate them?
Ooh, just trying to remember what I have and have not said. We had a little break in the middle there as Johnny's computer reset itself. Wolfguard Headtakers. I have here in my notes they are 3 wound Emperor's Children Flawless Blade wannabe.
Oof.
They have a great amount of that Blade Guard-esque synergy. You know, they have that, you know, frontline melee, tank some damage, deal some damage vibes. A small unit of them taking paired weaponry in a transport could be quite fun. You know, hop out and just do very aggressive outputs.
But then they lose their invuln save.
Yeah, but that's why they're in a transport. But a big unit with shields, if slogging through like character heavy armies, could be pretty nightmarish. Like I'm having heart palpitations thinking about a 6-body Headtakers with shields going into my Sororitas army. Yikes.
Yeah, real scary.
Yikes. They are slightly more expensive than the Blade Guard package, but I think overall eclipses their potential by virtue of precision angle. And then for 25 points minimum, you get the Hunting Wolves, which if you take a 6-strong Headtakers, you need 6 Hunting Wolves, which I think is a weird limitation. But anyway, the Hunting Wolves at 10-inch movement, toughness 4, it's great to block a flank with. And a potential clutch objective if they are near like the other Marines, like the other characters.
Yeah, they're neat.
A- for the Headtakers plus Wolves.
And for just the Headtakers?
I put them as a package deal.
I know, but just the way you said it.
I don't have separate things. I like Wolves in general in this army. There are some other units that exist of a similar nature, and they're just really good at helping you do objectives. You know, you're going to build out a list with more elite units. You're going to need something to do objectives. And why does it always have to be bloody scout squads, eh?
I give these guys an A for all the wolves.
No, that's a stretch.
No, because you take all the wolves. You don't take them without the wolves.
What about A for... Oh!
I was thinking about it, and I was saving it for something else.
Damn it. I'm sorry.
Nah, not really. No, I'll take the A for AWU.
A for AWU. Terminators, Jonny?
Termies. I love termies.
Look at these mountains of men. Look at these absolute giga chads with their humongous beards and their pelts and their axes and their assault cannons.
I dig these
Grandpa
guys.
woke up and chose violence. And he's brought all of his golf club buddies.
I really dig these guys.
They look great.
What cool models. Who knew pelt is what Terminators needed? All of their weapon options are sick. The big power axes are so freaking cool. The big two-handed axe is so freaking cool.
These are your guys, eh?
Yeah. I just like Terminators a lot.
I've noticed that.
If I'm gonna have Space Marines, I'm gonna have them in the most armor possible. And I will always be disappointed that heavy assault intercessors have more toughness.
Because they're in Gravis, but they don't have that sweet, sweet coin toss invuln.
This is true.
But Wolfguard Terminators have rugged resilience, Jonny, an ability I like to refer to as tenacity. If they're being attacked by something with a much stronger weapon than their armor is tough, their opponent has a -1 to wound them, which compensates for that T5. They essentially are heavy intercessors.
I really like the ability a lot of the time. Like, survivability in your big tanky guys is what you want, right? So having some extra survivability thrown in there. They also can have the storm shields if you wanted to, which will give them an extra pip of toughness, of wounds. So, yeah, these guys can be pretty hard to take down. The Relic Great Axe is absolutely cool as. I really like the look of it.
So good.
It also has dev wounds, and these guys have
that
their
leader character.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, man. These guys are cool, and spoiler alert, I have Terminators in my list.
Hey, same.
And also,
Probably not as many as you.
We all know I like Arjac, and Arjac goes well with these Wolfguard Terminators.
Yeah, it's Arjac's whole shtick in the lore as well. These guys are Logan's like personal bodyguards.
Yeah, man. Sick as.
I'm a big fan of these compared to generic Terminators, but in this edition, I'm not as hot on Terminators, if that makes sense.
Yeah, Terminators are in a bit of a rough patch outside of a couple. They are struggling.
Yeah, these guys aren't Death Shrouds. That's for sure.
Right?
Oh, yeah, no, they're good. I think the Terminator kit, they've nailed them having their own little role, the deep strike, the invuln. Not the most aggressive, but they'll probably outlast an opponent enough to tie them up. And with Arjac, man.
Turns it up to 11. Like, you're not taking these guys down when they've got a 4-up invuln, 2-up save, potentially 4 wounds, -1 to your wound rolls coming in, and then also if you do take them down, they can get back up and punch you before they die.
Yeah, nothing feels worse in this game to me than getting a dozen or so like generic bolter wounds into a Terminator, and then your opponent's like, well, is there any AP on those bolters? Like, no, they're bolters.
2-up save.
Oh, okay, well, they have a 2-up save. I'm like, oh, that's fucking right. 2-up?
How is that fair, right?
And then like 1 damage gets through out of like 12.
Terminators, man. Terminators are cool.
What do you give them on the report cardo? Or do you want to leave your hilarious, inevitable joke for after mine?
I need to do yours first. I need to see what you've got.
Okay. Okay. Wolfguard Terminis, there are 170 points. They are slightly faster and more melee focused than the generic Termies of the Space Marines, except for the Assault Terminators, but they haven't gotten a new kit. Anyway, they will outlast infantry, of course, due to the shields and the abilities, and they offer more, I think, of a distraction than the generic Assault Termies, that sort of alpha strike that the Assault Termies unit does. I think there's not much else to say for them other than maybe the lack of generic character leaders is a bit off-putting. Like, you're shoehorned into bringing either Logan or Arjac, and Arjac is a great leader for them, but without him, B- for me.
I agree with your point. Like, the fact that you can't bring any of the other Terminator captains that Space Marines have access to is a little bit annoying, especially when this is supposed to be a supplement codex, not its own codex. And it really feels like it should just be its own codex.
Oh, it so feels like it, eh?
The whole thing is, there are armies in this game, I'm looking at you, Emperor's Children, who have less models in their range and are their own codex and can't pull from any of the Chaos Space Marines. But these guys can.
They have slash demons. What are you on about?
I said Chaos Space Marines. I didn't say demons.
You did. My bad.
And also, they nerfed Slaanesh demons very soon after.
Look how they hurt my they/thems.
But these guys are really cool, and I'm now trying to hold you off as long as possible while I brainstorm the new idea, because these were going to be my A for Awu.
Shit. Well, you think of that while I have a little distraction tangent. This wave that we just had for Space Wolves is 9 units. We had 3 epics, which is already chonk, 2 generic HQs, 2 decent Battleline squads, and 2 elite units, each one with a different role. That's 9 units for a Space Marines supplement. Like, World Eaters, Votan, Emperor's Children, I think none of them started with more than 9 or maybe 10 units, if I'm remembering correctly. But if they were more, it was like 1 or 2, right?
Yeah, right.
We will talk in a bit, like the army set and the combat patrols and stuff, but they do have other units, like from previous editions, they're decent, but like they have a couple of, foot soldiers and other Marines on cavalry that are like the small bodies, like the old bodies.
Yeah.
And then even their like Dreadnought is like the old box Dreadnought. So like, whilst they're good, as a person who would get into Space Wolves hypothetically like today, I don't know if I would want to get some of those old ones, even though like they're good. Like, the rules are good for all of them, just about.
Yeah. No, and that's something that I would say as well is these new models look so good, but when you look at the old Venerable Dreadnought, the weird AF Wulfen, they just don't hold up to the new models,
Yeah. So what is in stock? I have a list. We have Ulrik the Slayer as an epic character. He is the named High Wolf Priest, like the head honcho chaplain. He is not the new Wolf Priest. There's the Iron Priest, which is their version of a Tech Marine. Infantry-wise, they got the Wulfen kit, which can be dual kit build, which is always a good thing. They have the Hounds of Morkai, which is a Reaver alternative, but there's no more datasheet.
Yeah, they got legends.
Hounds of Morkai were designed to be like Psyker Hunters, which could have been a cool little kit that they don't have. Other elites includes the OG classic Thunderwolf Cavalry and Fenrisian Wolves, both of them top shelf for me. I really like the Venerable Dreadnought because it builds 4 separate loadouts.
4.
Venerable Dreadnought, Wulfen Dreadnought, Murderfang, which is an epic Wulfen Dread, and Bjorn the Fell-Handed, who is a epic Venerable Dreadnought. They're all good, but they're all old,
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. And I mean, you'll see when we do our list building as well, is there were some considerations here that had to be put in place just due to the fact that this kit is very old and looks very silly next to new dreads.
Did you look much into the data sheets of them? Like, do you have things to say about these prior to 8th edition Space Wolves?
I have looked through the data sheets for all of the Dreadnoughts. but we will talk about them when we get to list building, don't you worry.
Okay. I have like a sentence for like in a report card for each of the old stuff if you want.
Sure. I don't have report ratings for these guys, but okay.
Did you get a Wolfguard Terminator joke yet, by the way?
Yeah, sure. It's A for Arjac's bodyguards, because that's the only time you're running them.
Johnny, you're on fire tonight. Oh no. Look, all right. So Ragnar was in between the old and the new. We've already talked about him. He's not part of the new wave, but he looks the part. The old stuff, Ulrik the Slayer, 70 points, same as the Wolf Priest, but he feels designed for Headtakers. He adds one to the hit roll, and if the target is correct, he specifies keywords. You can also add one to the wound. His particular ability is to advance the Sagas, which is the key mechanic in Space Wolf Detachments, so mega. And overall, I think he helps broaden what the headhunters can punch up into. I like him. I gave him a B+, much better than generic Wolf Priest, but more of an aggressive one.
Yeah. Nah, cool.
The Iron Priest. I love this guy. For 60 points, he is a cheap character with some, of course, vehicle healing, but he has the fun, like, unique Space Wolf weapon, Hellfrost. This is like a plasma weapon, except with, like, ice crystals instead of plasma.
Nice.
You can do with Hellfrost usually a torrent profile or a lower strength but higher AP and damage profile, which I don't know any other weapons that do that. So Hellfrost, I like. The classic mech lone op on him's good. He can do objectives and such if need be. Before they errated it, Johnny, his unique ability was to give a vehicle's all weaponry rapid fire. Every gun they had was rapid fire, but they nerfed it. They nerfed it to give him just a choice of one weapon. Could you imagine our buddy Dark Angel, if his repulsor tanks had rapid fire one on every gun?
Oh, that sounds terrible.
Yeah, it was. This guy was your auto pick. People were running like 3 of them.
Oh, damn.
But you can specify which gun gets the rapid fire. How do you feel about 2 hunter killers, Johnny, before they're no longer there? Right? Not bad.
Oh, how does that mechanically work? How does he double the amount of single-use missiles?
Well, it's a one-shot weapon.
I know.
But what if your one-shot weapon has 2 attacks?
We could only afford to put 1 hunter killer. Don't worry, I brought my own.
Yeah. Before he had the rapid fire nerf, he was an A+++ because holy moly, repulsors and predators and the like getting extra guns. I think there's a mechanic where you can keep him inside a Storm Raven and you could give like rapid fire 1 to those 6 heavy bolter things that it runs with. Yeah, it was nutso. But now he's just good. I give him a B. He's a good mech.
Cool dude.
Infantry, bye-bye Hounds and Morkai. Wulfen they're the sort of mutant, they're the mutant space wolves that actually, like, in lore was like a whole Thousand Suns machination where they're like, so Space Wolf Gene Seed can be unreliable, right? What if we just made it more reliably unreliable?
More reliably unreliable.
Yeah, and then more Space Wolves, because you gotta, when you initiate into Space Wolves, you gotta drink from the cup of the Wulfen, which is like almost like the alcohol in the cocktail to become a Space Wolf. But some people can't handle their alcohol and would become a Wulfen, right? This was happening like a lot for a while there, and the Wulfen became like these feral marines out in the wilds of their homeworld Fenris, until like some of the epic named characters were like, maybe like we should treat them a bit nicer. And then they did.
It's not their fault.
No, it's not their fault. People don't really like the Wulfen because they look a bit jank, but in the game, they're good. You can run the Wulfen either with or without the Storm Shields profile, and it's a dual kit. Wulfen, 9 inches, T6 and 2 wounds. Savage.
Nice.
They have a desperate escape ability, which will be insane for keeping range units caught up in the engagement while the Headtakers or the Blood Claws make their way over. You can sort of keep them hiding around objectives too. They have a couple of war gear options between like a reroll hits or a little shoulder like mounted frag grenade launcher for some reason.
Yeah, I never understood that, but it's fine.
Yeah, right. How do they aim it? Anyway.
They don't.
I think their saves are bad, I think. So that stops them from being like an A- in my opinion, just because they have like a decent stat line. I think B to B plus if controlled well is fine. But Storm Shields, for 100 points instead of 85, they have a baked-in 4-up invulnerable save because it's a Storm Shield.
Oh my.
It's designed to suppress and punch up into big targets, potential. Like, great. They likely won't finish off their target, but they go in and they bonk something, and then they give suppression, right? So whatever they hit won't be moving, and they'll be hitting worse.
They're pretty tanky.
The bad saves that stop them from being an A, well, they got good saves now. They're an A.
These are your A for Awu.
Quite literally, woo.
Yeah, they seem like a good lock-up piece.
They do, right?
They give Wraith energy.
Yeah, and then combine that with a Wolf Priest. Imagine.
I imagine that's probably what you did for your list.
Sure is. No, not exactly. But if I was playing Beastslayer, I would, but I didn't. Spoiler. They have some elite cavalry units. The Thunderwolf cavalry. You remember Wolf Jail joke that went around at the start of the edition, Johnny?
Oh, yeah.
Thunderwolf cavalry, 100 points for 3 or 220 for 6. Wolf Jail still here. They are a fantastic T6 4-wound profile, with the shields being the obvious war gear choice for a 4-up invulnerable save.
I'm so confused by this whole shield bullshit. Why do some of them only get a wound while others are getting invuln saves? Wouldn't you just...
they have the Iron Halo already.
Wouldn't you just give the Crux shield to everyone?
You would, but you gotta put the piece of the Emperor or some shit into it.
Sounds like the Space Wolves have all the bits of the Emperor.
Yeah, right. Or maybe it's Russ's armor. Huh?
Maybe.
But look, the Thunderwolves on the charge, each time they make a melee weapon, if they made a charge, you add 1 to the damage characteristic. So, on the charge, 4 attacks, 3 up at a 5-2-3 capability, 5 strength, 2 damage, 2 AP, 3 damage.
It's pretty good.
And they move 12. They move 12 with a 4-up invulnerable save, possibly, unless you want to take fucking bolt guns, which you don't. A+.
You don't.
A+.
Nice.
And even the Fenrisian Wolves, 40 points for a pack of 5. Again, like the Headhunter Wolves, which they're kind of like replacing these guys production-wise, probably. Fenrisian Wolves as a data sheet. Great movement package to keep near the characters and use for the objective play. If they weren't tied, if the Headhunter Wolves weren't tied to the data sheet of the Headtakers, you could easily just keep some wolves to build a squad of these, but you can't because that would just be cheating. But they're good, A-.
No, sick.
Which takes us to the last data sheet block. The Walker, the Venerable Dreadnought. Quad kit. So let's start with the basic bitch. Venerable Dreadnought, 140 points. Johnny, this is too expensive, isn't it?
I mean, no. I play Chaos Knights. Are you joking? That's a cheap Chaos
the shield
Knight.
And the axe is for the cost. Shield and axe is the way to go for the defensive capabilities. But,
for sure.
Put this thing near Blood Claws. Just saying. Put a Vendread near Blood Claws, because if it's within 6 of a Space Wolf unit, add 1 to the advance and charge rolls made for that unit.
Yeah.
Johnny, it doesn't have a Storm Shield. It has a Blizzard Shield, which gives a 4-up invulnerable save.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh my god. C+. I think it's a bit expensive.
But it
has a Hellfrost cannon, though. I still love the idea of Hellfrost cannons. I think that's real fun. You get the Torrent profile at 6 strength, AP1, 2 damage, that's dispersed. Focus profile, though, strength 10, AP3, 5 damage.
Yeah, right.
Melter could never. Wulfen Dread, bit more expensive, 145 points. It's almost too expensive to take, I think, but if you want to run double melee, because his ability benefits from 2 melee weapons, but like shield and 1 melee is still a good distraction piece. You know, he could just get melted potentially if you're going up with this guy. But look, if you don't get melted, yeah. It's a bit scary. It's a bit scary.
It sure is.
Because if you shoot him and you haven't killed him, he can make a bestial rage move. Could be also called Blood Search for all intents and purposes. But you add 2 to the result of the d6 roll. So he can potentially just pinball 8 inches into engagement.
It's pretty cool, right?
For that reason alone, I bump him up to B-.
Oh, B-. Yeah. No, this guy's pretty cool.
Pinball. I think that ability used to be baked into Murderfang before the Codex. I think it was called like Murder Maker, which Murder Maker still exists, but it's been like, I think they split the kit, like ability-wise.
Yeah.
But Murderfang, holy moly, what is that weapon profile? Sustain hits 1 on 8 attacks, hits on 3s, strength 14 with twin linked, AP 2, 3 damage. You can reroll advance and charge for Murderfang.
Dude goes burr.
And if you're playing a lot of Wulfen, he's going to give a fight on death to Wulfen that are just near him. He doesn't even have to lead them. I'm upgrading him to a B.
Nice.
But Bjorn.
Bjorn real good.
Bjorn's in your list, isn't he?
Of course he is.
Why would we put Bjorn in our list, Jonny?
Mate, because this boy
right.
slaps hard, dude. Are you joking?
I'm not joking.
I love me a Bjorn. As soon as I saw that there was 2 technically Dreadnought characters in this army, I was like, bet. This is exactly what I want in life. But Bjorn, he's your CP management.
CP Dread. He has what I called tenacity before with the Terminators, so harder to wound. He has a invuln 5, feel no pain 5. He's got the Hellfrost cannon option. Yeah, nutso.
Yeah, for sure. I really like this
but
guy.
170 points. 170, but it's worth.
Oh, so cool. Yeah, no, I can't complain about Bjorn.
And that's, I believe, all the data sheets.
That's it. We're done. All right. Goodbye. Nah, jokes. Let's not do that yet.
What do you think of all these units? Like, this is a whole army unto itself, isn't it?
Yeah. This ain't a Codex supplement, dude.
It's a Codex.
It's a straight up Codex because it doesn't play well with others.
Yeah. It's good. I think they needed to do something like this for their supplements. I think like Dark Angel and Blood Angels were having too much like good times by being able to play like, you know, a hybridization of the 2 rule blocks, while like if you were White Scars or Raven Guard, like you couldn't.
Yeah, yep.
Space Wolves don't have as much interactivity between the 2 halves, but who cares? They got all of this.
They got all the cool stuff. And
they release with, you know, if we want to talk about acquiring them, they have, you know, a couple of good army set combat patrols that came out with them. I've crunched the numbers.
Oh, have you now?
Yeah, a little bit. In Australian, you know, of course. Army set wise, if you wanted to get into this, which our Drakari friend actually called me and was like, I'm staring at this box. Is it good? And I just said, yes. He's like, oh, okay. I probably shouldn't. I need to finish my Drakari army. I'm like, that could take years. Drakari aren't getting an army for a while. What do you want about?
Mate, they'll get something this edition, hopefully.
Just dead last.
Literally.
I was so convinced. I like convinced myself that like 11th edition start box was going to be Space Wolves v Drakari because both of them needed to be updated. Ah, well.
You know the thing that I find the funniest?
What's that?
Drakari haven't got their army even announced yet, but they're like, hey guys, you need more Space Marine characters, right?
It's your Astartes edition.
It's just, imagine you're a Drakari player. I feel bad for you guys. Although, looking at the lore, I don't know if I feel really that bad for you.
They're being shoehorned into playing Harlequins or Yanari. And if you're shoehorned into playing Eldari detachments, woof.
Woof is correct.
Anywho, they could have done. They still could do it. I have a little end of the episode tidbit of what could be next for this army. But the army set. So typically, 40k release schedules, you get an army set or a battle force. Usually, battle force is just a collection of units, whereas an army set is like, hey, do you want like a month advance to the cool newness? Well, go buy this set. Army sets, of course, come with the limited art codex, which is different to the limited edition codex art, but it's the same book, just different cover. You'll get the data sheets as well. So the army set had those two things, plus a Wolfguard battle leader, a Wolf Priest, a Headtaker unit, a Blood Claws unit, and a Grey Hunters unit. Noticeably, no epics, which I think is a good thing. You would be saving approximately 33%. If you were to buy this army set in Australia, you'd be paying $390 at full price. Whereas if you bought everything individually, not upticking the cost of a limited codex, but individually, $574. So 33% savings. Not bad. 30 to 40 is like the sweet spot.
Yeah, for sure.
The new Combat Patrol, however, not as good, but you get a Wolfguard battle leader, Wolfguard Termies, a Wulfen unit, and a Blood Claws unit for an overall 29% savings. On what would be $394 individually, you pay $280. Points-wise, 455 points for the Combat Patrol. If you built your Wulfen with shields, that's 470. Personally, I think you could have added the Venerable Dreadnought kit because it's old and cheap for an extra $92. You would save a whopping 43%, but the points would raise somewhere between $595 to $640 depending on your build options.
Hey, you can't do that unless it's Custodes. You can't be that high.
They didn't add the Venerable Dreadnought, but the actual Combat Patrol's okay. I don't mind it. It's got a good mixture of stuff, but noticeably not super synergistic. The army set was way better at that.
Yeah, the army set was definitely a pretty good way to start this army. Combat Patrols have been very hit and miss, so I'm not really too fussed by it not really showing much, but hey, it is what it is. It's strange that they put the Wulfen in there, which, while they're good in the codex, those models definitely needed an update. Please and thank you.
Yeah, please and thank you. Cool. Detachments time, Jonny.
Oh yeah, we still have to do all of that.
I don't think we need to like really bust them apart. Like my notes for detachments is like 3 sentences.
There's only 3. They're all very similar. They just do something slightly different.
Shall I kick us off with the Hunter detachment?
Sure, let's do it. But before we do that, I just need to say, this was the part of the codex that let me down the most, and is the reason why I no longer feel like ever playing Space Wolves. I was really disappointed in the way they went with this and their sagas. There was so much story potential, and it feels like they copped out.
This is a casualty of the simple but not simplified game design they've gone for, eh?
Yep. But sure, Hunter pack.
Hunter. Nope, that's the wrong one. Saga of the Hunter. So, Space Wolf detachments run around sagas. You have to do a miscellaneous objective to unlock the second half of a detachment rule. This goes for all of them. The index version of Space Wolves had a little list of things you could pick from, I think. Like you're sort of going like totem pole-y, like, do you want this aspect? Cool, do this, you get this buff. Now they've kind of like, they've pulled the totem apart and put each part of the, symbolic totem here as its own detachment. We have Saga of the Hunter. This is your baby's first detachment, if you will. It's straightforward. It's an infantry-focused horde detachment. It'll be easy to pick this one up and learn. Maybe it's a little bit underwhelming. It encourages multiple units fighting at once. It encourages a lot of smaller units and some sort of buff piece. You want Blood Claws, you want Wulfen, you might even want vehicles. You get +1 to hit if multiple units are fighting the same target. And if you complete your saga, you get +1 to wound as well. As a Adeptus Sororitas Hallowed Martyrs player, +1 to hit and wound is insane. It will push you over the line more times than you expect.
Yeah.
However, if your opponent's good, they'll stop this trap. They'll see units buddying up and they'll be like, nope, and it will just kill one. And then your detachment rule's gone.
And that's my whole thing. Like, in 10th edition, there's this big emphasis on spreading around the board and getting things done, which, when you're now halving the amount of units you have in each location because you have to double up, it feels like a large investment into a very obvious trap. If you're just learning the army, yes, this is a very good way to learn, how to succeed in combat, so to say, because you are going to succeed in combat doing this.
Especially if you bring like Ragnar, battle leaders, wolf priests, like you'll go well.
Yeah. And while the buff is great, I feel like the downside of not being able to spread out is substantial.
I do like the bit though that the Space Wolf unit gets the buff if their engagement range of one or more other Adeptus Astartes units. So you could potentially flank block with vehicles like transports and other tanks.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
If you're bringing in, let's say you're bringing in generic blade guards or assault intercessors, they are not Space Wolves. They will not get the buff, which is interesting to note.
They won't get much from Space Wolves, frankly.
They will turn the Space Wolves on. So outside of like transports, I probably wouldn't consider too much of the generic Astartes units. But hey, the enhancements are good stuff for good prices. I think like Wolfmaster is a neat flavor. Which one was that again? Yeah, the Wolfmaster, 5 points. You have a character that's sort of like the Kennel Master of the Space Wolves that will just like point to a nearby unit of like wolves or even like Logan's wolves for some reason and be like, hey, the wolves have lethal hits now. And for 5 points, that's quite funny. Fenrisian Gift will be a really good like objective secure character, likely like maybe a priest nearby Wulfen because he'll get a feel no pain from the enhancement. Swift Hunter gives Scout 7. That's great for board control. But even like the stratagems, the abilities of the detachment, they're all geared towards positioning. You got wide fight. I call fallback and fighting stuff graceful retreat. You got like a bounding advance stratagem. That's really cool. You can move through screening units, which is insane. Like you can just walk through the footprint of a knight to get to the next knight. That's great. There are some offensive strats locked behind specific units, which is weird. But yeah, you got movement and takedown strats. It's not bad.
No, it's interesting. It's fun. But as I said, just very simple. The stratagems are definitely a big uptick for this one.
I'll give it a B. B for straightforward. B for Bloodclaw.
All right, and then we will come to the Saga of the Bold. I don't really have much else to say about the Hunted pack. It's very simple.
Bold is a bit more nuanced, thankfully.
It sure is.
I can keep us talking if you want, or you can spread some love if you want. What would you like me?
This is our character detachment. This is your hero hammer for this.
Hero hammer.
And with all of the cool characters in this army, it's a pretty good place to be if you want to play with them. Getting the ability to re-roll, hit roll, wound roll, and damage rolls is very nice. One of each, yes. Which is nice.
Which only makes sense on a character. Because if you have like a whole squad, yeah.
It's interesting. Your characters get it by default. Everyone else has to live up to their reputation. It's like all of your characters just get it.
But with Bold, you have like 4 sagas, and you need to complete 3 of 4 of them before your whole army outside of the characters can get the detachment rule. You have to destroy an Oath of Moment, which is easy. That unit has to then destroy a second Oath of Moment target, which is risky, because how often...
And hard to do.
Is that going to happen? Yeah. You can overrun their position by being within your opponent's deployment zone. Logan Grimnar's ability is going to basically auto-complete that for you, and then hold an objective from the second battle round onwards. That's okay. But if your opponent has deep strike screeners like infiltrators or a Night Tyrant, or that Oath of Moment target killer is blown off the board before they can do it again, bye army-wide detachment rule.
Right? It just feels like there's a very easy way for your opponent to interrupt your game plan with this one. But if you want to play Hero Hammer, you don't care about your Saga, right? All your heroes get it anyway.
You're playing just all heroes, who cares? But all the enhancements are also fantastic. You know, you have 2 Space Wolf locked enhancements, so you kind of put them on a Wolfguard battle leader only, really. Scald is great if you don't want to bring Bjorn, because Scald means if you achieve a boast, you gain a CP, but boast is a bit weird. Like, boast is the Saga objective, if I didn't say that. If you complete 3 in a turn, you still only get 1 CP.
Yeah, these don't stack.
Nah.
Not anymore. They used to, once upon a time.
Yeah, that was scary. But yeah, they're all good. All good at like doing more damage for the most part, which is what you want to keep that pressure up. The strats are good. Everything's an epic deed, which feels meaty. You know, they're all fighting oriented.
Yep. You've got advance and charge. You've got a disgustingly resilient. You've got lethal hits.
Only against shooting.
Yeah, no, these are pretty cool.
Jonny, I need your brain.
Oh, here we go.
How is countercharge different to heroic intervention? Is it because of the phrasing of order of operations? End of your opponent's charge phase. The countercharge is like that spicy trapdoor play, whereas heroic intervention's like during all the charges.
Yeah,
is that the key difference?
The only thing I can see that's different. Yeah, I think that's literally it. It's the fact that you can wait, which is weird in my opinion. They could have put something else there.
But it does mean you get 2 charge phase interruptions if you have the CP.
That is technically true, although with all your CP generation, it's possible, right? Like, they do give you something in the detachment to farm extra CP, which is good. So now it's just something to use it on, which when you've got 2 CP...
There are a lot of 2 CPs. A lot of these you want to be using, like, a lot, though. You want to be advancing and charging. That's Alpha Strike. You want to, you know, have Birth of a Saga sometimes to guarantee, like, a Terminator or a Headtaker pack gets a punch-up.
Champion's Guidance feels a little lackluster, but it allows you to target something outside of your Oath of Moment.
Yeah. A lot of 2 to 3 front aggressive pushes, which will catch newer players or more gunline players off guard, I think.
I feel like this detachment will really work in the hands of someone who knows how to use their CP wisely and doesn't trap themselves with 0 CP.
Yeah, knows when to not do it, yeah.
What rating did you give it?
A-. I think it's a decently well-rounded detachment for that hyper-aggressive Hero Hammer. I think hyper-aggressive Hero Hammer is fun for an army such as this. The strats, you know, kit is fantastic for getting into melee and turning everything into pulp, which is exactly what most Space Wolf players probably want to do anyway. But I think the Sagas are quite risky, and depending on the matchup, I might even consider like a B as well for this, because if you really, you know, want to guarantee this happens, you kind of need to do it by battle round 2, because otherwise things will start pushing you off objectives. You'll be deep strike screened. Your Oath of Moment killer might just be wiped out after 2 or 3 rounds. But if you're a good commander, like you get the flow of the game, you can just go burp. And CP generation, again, like if you're not on the money with how and when to spend your dollars, it could be risky too.
Yeah,
but if you know what you're doing, whee!
Yeah, it definitely feels like the pros detachment. Someone who really knows what they're doing.
I think the next one is getting a bit more play overall.
Oh, the next one seems like the most playable.
Yeah, the character-focused playstyle isn't as recommended in high-level play as casual players would expect.
Unless you're playing Custodes.
Yeah. What did you give Bold, by the way?
I don't have ratings for these, but I would give Bold a C for Custodes.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's how it feels.
That's okay. It's good to have differing opinions.
Yeah, it didn't gel with me well. It just seemed too easy to interrupt. But that brings us to the Saga of the Beastslayer with the legendary Slayers.
I really wonder what this is about.
Are you ready to rumble? No, this is your This is your I want
am.
to take down big stuff and things.
Beastslayers.
Yeah. If my saga is complete, I have lethal hits on all of your characters, monsters, or vehicles. But how will we get that? It's simple. We will kill characters, monsters, or vehicles.
I like this. It's you can't interrupt this.
No, it's simple. And if your opponent for some reason doesn't have a lot of these, it doesn't force you into not being able to accomplish it, because it's always half of their character, monsters, and vehicles, which I think is really cool. It's neat, it's simple.
And this detachment rule is not specified to Space Wolves.
It sure isn't.
It's Adeptus Astartes. So everyone benefits from this.
But let's be real.
Bring tanks.
Yeah, this is your I want to bring stuff. The fun stuff is coming, detachment.
Would you believe this Space Marine supplement has a Space Marine soup detachment?
I'm honestly shocked. Going through the character sheets, you wouldn't expect it, right?
Yeah.
But I'm glad it's here, and I'm glad it's decent.
Yeah, it's spice.
Yeah, the enhancements are all very specifically focused on Space Wolves units, but with this weird little...
Very specific.
Yeah. With this weird little, some of them can be held by someone who isn't a Space Marine, and then they just buff your other stuff. So you've got like a +2 movement, and then that person can be attached to Wulfen. This is your Wolf Touch detachment with your Wolf Priest. You've got the Hunter's Guile, which allows you to redeploy Thunderwolf Cavalry, Wulfen, and Blood Claws. You've got a once per battle fight phase if they're leading Blood Claws. You can improve the armor penetration. It's like jumping through all the hoops to get this one buff. And then you've got, for any Adeptus Astartes, to buff attacks against character, monsters, and vehicles by 1 AP.
Wrong way. Wrong way.
Oh, incoming. Oh, incoming.
Yeah.
Oh, reduces the AP. Oh, man.
Free armor of content.
Yeah, right? Only against characters, monsters, or vehicles, though.
And only a model, not a unit.
Yeah.
I don't know who gets this. Maybe like a Crusade battle guard leader?
Maybe?
I would say that, probably.
Yeah. But the stratagems are where we live.
Yeah, the enhancements are less enticing. But yeah, the strats are a lot more balanced and bold.
Yeah, we have +1 to wound in the fight phase. We have reactive moves on Space Wolves and Thunderwolf Cavalry. We have uppy downy shenanigans. So this is some cool stuff. This is some hyper elite play sort of detachment stratagems. That's the words I'm looking for. Running through terrain features with your cavalry. Nah, I like this. And this is what I built around.
I bet. You always get a bit more pepped up when you talk about the one you build around.
Oh, I gotta just lose all that energy, do I? No.
No, Johnny. Bring the hype.
Of all the detachments, this is the only one I could realistically see myself playing. It's simple, it's straightforward, and it gets the job done. And that's what I like about it. What rating did you give it?
I gave Beastslayer a B+. I'm not personally so interested in this detachment due to its kit. Like, I don't love the sort of focused around like the Thunderwolf Cavalry, the Wulfen, the Claws. Like, that's not my preferred aspect of this army.
Shocking considering how you rated them.
I'm trying to rate them like as individuals, not on personal preference. But it does have a great flavor of, you know, your units chasing targets across the battlefield. Like, this is your feral wilds of Fenris, Space Wolves hunting bigger Space Wolves, I guess. This will be a great tournament detachment, I think, due to the sort of level of strategy required to implement what kind of is a lot of movement-based stratagems. But the detachment rule, however, is powerful enough to lift the kit up for the casual players too. And the detachment rule could even just be a singular reason to play the detachment, just as a whole, just for that rule.
It's neat. I like it.
B for Beastslayer.
B for Wulfen go brrr.
I have a small tidbit here for the Crusade, if you want me to say so.
Please do. We love some Crusade around here.
We love Crusade. So Space Marine Crusade is what's known as Oathsworn campaigns. You pick an Oathsworn campaign, you have specific agendas and requisitions that are opened up to help you try and achieve these campaigns. You get some points from simply playing matches. You get more points if you do the bonus agendas, like the Crusade missions, if you want to think of it like that. Space Wolves are exactly the same thing, except they offer more Oathsworn campaigns. 3, each of them somewhat emulating the various detachments. Each of them, of course, has that unique requisition and agenda. Some, I think, are a bit more flavorful than doable, but they overall all feel very Space Wolves. A lot of the honors that you can then spend these oath points on, there's lots of them, there's like 10, and they all have a Space Wolf flair, name-wise. None of them feel particularly unique, if I'm being honest. Like, they're all just math hammery stuff. But there are some fun, like, requisition stuff. You have a lone wolf mechanic, which is a fun way to recycle infantry that have just experienced a lot of like that devastating blow, like they didn't pass their like end of game morale check. You could cycle them into a Wolfguard battle leader, which gains a set of new replacement battle honors. You have an Oath of Vengeance reroll ability. It turns the Wolfguard battle leader into almost like a whole new unit, a sort of an infiltrator scout with a native lone op, etc. And then the battle traits themselves, you know, there's not that many, but there's a whole table specifically for the Wulfen units. The requisitions all focus around like Space Wolf sort of legends and epic deeds. You can sort of upscale units into new units whilst bringing battle honors across the type of units. You can sacrifice the lone wolf in battle as like an XP honor point package. Yeah, it's kind of fun in that aspect.
Just feels very Space Marine, right?
Very Space Marine, but with a decent enough
like flavor profile thrown in there.
Yeah, our Space Marine, there we go, player doesn't particularly like Oathsworn campaigns as a mechanic. He says it's hard to actually guarantee you get enough points to actually like spec up your units, because after 3 matches, your campaign is done. And whatever points you got, you've got. I think if you played like larger games, which gives you more points, then it would feel okay, because then you can really spec those higher upgrades, which we haven't personally done yet. There we go. Is it list time, Jonny, or do you have anything else you want to say?
I'm ready to give you a list. Are you ready to give me a list?
I talked a bit. You can talk.
You want me to go first?
Yeah.
So I built Saga of the Beastslayer, but this could definitely be Hero Hammer. I was a little short on points for what I actually wanted to do here, but I couldn't justify cutting anything huge to make it fit. It didn't quite fit in exactly what I wanted. I was like 5 points over.
I think it's okay, Jonny. 5 points over, you're not going to be crucified.
Nah, 5 points over is not legal. So I have 5 epic heroes and 1 extra character, because we went big. I have Arjac, Logan, Njal, Ragnar, and Bjorn all showing up to the party, along with a single battle leader who barely made the cut, I won't lie.
Fair.
He almost got cut for what I wanted, but I couldn't justify that many points. With all those epic heroes, there were no room for enhancements in this list. I have taken 3 more Dreadnoughts, just to really round out the package of 4 Dreadnoughts, because why not?
Holy moly.
2 Wulfen Dreadnoughts and 1 Venerable Dreadnought with the Hellfrost Cannon. Yeah, man.
I love Hellfrost Cannons, man.
Yeah, I was like, if I'm going to run 1 Venerable, I would prefer if one of those Wulfen Dreadnoughts was Murderfang, but the points just didn't quite fit.
Ah, okay.
So we got the next best thing. And then we get to the dudes being led. So I opted a bit of a strange way of doing this. I have 10 Blood Claws, because we need our melee boys to be running up the board. And then 2 lots of 10 Grey Hunters. Now, I don't know if this is the best choice, but with 2 Wulfen Dreadnoughts running around and Bjorn running around and what else is to come. I felt like I just needed a little bit of medium to long range, like some dudes to do some objectives more than anything.
Yeah.
And be able to just sit there and hold an objective. So we got a couple of Grey Hunters to fill out the list, even though they're so overpriced for a Battleline.
Yeah.
And then I took a 6-pack of Wolfguard Headtakers, so 3 Headtakers and 3 Wolves, because why wouldn't you? They're cool. They're sick.
Yeah,
and
we love doggies.
A big 10 blob of Wolfguard Terminators to go with Arjac.
Man, you committed.
I committed war crimes.
I was doing the math. I'm like, no, you seem pretty on point. What have you possibly stuffed in? Yeah, 10 Terminators will do it.
10 Wolfguard Terminators. My whole game plan is let Logan drop Arjac and 10 Wolfguard Terminators on turn 1 and just disrupt whatever plan your opponent thought they had.
It's quite a scary deployment, I will not lie.
It sure is. And then you can have Njal with some friends running up that board as fast as they can. You've got 2 Wulfen Dreadnoughts running up the board as fast as they can with that Hellfrost cannon not far behind.
And the pinball machine.
And then I opted more to think of Logan as like a background sort of character, sitting back towards the background of the board on his own because he doesn't have anyone to lead, and kind of just protecting him a little bit. His main reason he's in the list is for that High King of Fenris. And then if your opponent does need to be controlled, you can push him up the board and block out their stratagems. Like, I wanted him to kind of just be on his own, kind of like a lone wolf, doing his thing, even though he's not alone because he comes with 2 friends. But no, that was my whole list. It's just 4 Dreadnoughts, a blob of Terminators, and some dudes running around in the mid-table.
It's quite freaky. I think it has legs, absolutely.
There's a lot of legs.
There's a lot of legs. The Dreadnoughts especially will really psych out people.
Oh yeah, 4 Dreadnoughts is a lot to look across the table and see.
Especially with their angry little faces.
So cute.
That's a good list. I like it. And it's very Space Wolf.
It's very Space Wolf heavy, but not very wolf heavy, if you know what I mean. There's only 5 wolves in the list, and that is the 3 with the Headhunters and the 2 with Logan.
Yeah.
But that's what we got.
They have all the little skulls on their bodies. There's more wolves.
Everywhere.
There's wolves, don't worry. It's quite on the nose.
There's Wulfen in there, the Dreadnoughts.
True.
Snuck them in somewhere. All right, what do you got for me?
Not bad. Do you have a...
What?
Oh.
What?
I was going to ask,
I have a what?
Do you have a paint scheme in mind?
I don't. I won't lie. I could. It was hard enough getting around building a list for these guys and finding something I liked. It was difficult. But if I had to choose, like, on the spot, I would probably take some inspiration from the White Scars and go with a very, like, light white, almost maybe slightly off grey as the main color, and then bring some of that blue back in the trim. Something very icy.
Gotcha.
Almost like predators hiding in the snow.
Could imagine like a little red streak across the armor or red eye lenses. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. What about you? What do you got?
Nice.
What do you got for me? Huh?
I got the Saga of the Bold, mate.
You're playing Hero Hammer.
Yeah, one of my shortcomings in something competitive is I play too many characters in my armies because I like them.
Characters are cool.
So I picked a detachment which emphasizes characters. Haha. I will take a moment to mention a not sponsored but a very cool thing. The 3D printable bits company called Grey Tide Studios.
Oh yeah, I've heard of them.
They recently just did a big Salamanders pack, but they have, in their repertoire, I think you can find them on My Mini Factory, the Primal Hounds STL pack. They have of course, a Space Wolf pack. They have the Salamanders pack, Blood Angels, Black Templars, Dark Angels, and each of these packs has like hundreds of bits. So whilst these Space Wolves actually do have a pretty decent bunch of bits, if you wanted more bits, give them a little look. And if I was to do Space Wolves, I would highly consider making them look as cool as I could with this pack.
Yeah, these guys love some flavor.
Oh yeah, but my actual list, I called this list Adeptus Astartes? Question mark. Woof? Question mark.
Woof.
I tried as best as I could to make a list that was entirely Space Wolves. Except for 2 units, I achieved that. I wanted to stay away from the units that could potentially be replaced in the near future, like the older models, even though they're good, even though I threw out A's and B's ad nauseum, except for Bjorn, because let's be real, I didn't include Thunderwolf Cavalry, even though I wanted to, but I built a list out of what, is pretty new and up and coming. Like you, I have epic heroes galore. I got Logan Grimnar alone to be that sort of mid-board, oppressive CP taxing threat. I've got his best buddy, Arjac Rockfist, with Terminators.
Good bloke.
Yeah, what I actually did was start my list as if I had bought both the army set and the combat patrol. So everything in that box is in this list. Those boxes.
Nice.
Yep. So we got Bjorn, Arjac, Logan. We've got Nigel. Nigel's going to be leading Grey Hunters, a pack of 10. They're going to be kind of my objective monkey. I got Ragnar Blackmane, of course, leading a brick of 20 Blood Claws, teehee.
Whoa, that's a lot of Blood Claws.
Yeah. He's going to be like the spinning wheel of death. You can't escape him. I have Ulrik the Slayer, except I would just get on the new Wolf Priest and just say, that's him. Maybe I lightly kit bash him, maybe not. The chaplains that are coming out these days, like the Execrator for the Black Templars, would look really cool combined with the new Wolf Priest. So Ulrik the Slayer lives.
In some form.
Yeah, Ulrik the Slayer. He was originally my favorite Space Wolf, and then I did some lore research. I'm like, oh, this guy's done like nothing. He's just there. But Ulrik the Slayer, he will be leading big chonk Headtakers. 6 Headtakers with paired weapons.
With the doggos?
Yep, 6 hunting wolves, because if you take 6 Headtakers and wolves, they have to be 6 wolves.
Yep.
The wolves will be separate, and they will run up alongside my other squad of Headtakers, which will have shields. Ulrik and the paired weapon Headtaker mob will go in my Impulsor, because the Impulsor has a capacity of 7.
7.
So the 7-strong Headtaker with Ulrik will be in the Impulsor to go right up and kill a warlord or something. I have a Wolfguard Battle Leader with Braggart's Steel Enhancement and Shield, going with another lot of 3 Headtakers.
Oh, damn.
I got a second Wolfguard Battle Leader with the Thunderwolves Fortitude, which, if I'm not mistaken, is very survivable-y. Yeah, on a death, roll a d6. On a 2-up, he gets back up. He's going to be my backup objective monkey.
Fair.
And because they were in the combat patrol, I've got 5 Wulfen, but with storm shields to help with suppressing something I haven't quite got around to beating up with Ragnar and his boys yet.
And I mean, the storm shields definitely are just a better option. You need them. You need that survivability.
Yep, that leaves 100 points, which you originally, when I was putting this list together, was going to be Thunderwolf Cav, and then I just kept looking at them with their little punitive bodies and thinking, nah, sorry. Not for me, thank you. So, I've allied in a Calidus Assassin to potentially make stratagems be costing 3. When combined with Logan, or just having 2 Vectauras on the board.
Yeah, I think the 2 Vectauras on the board is kind of oppressive.
Yeah, to really shut down a lot of things like Overwatch, command rerolls, all those basic things that are just good. And even, sometimes like maybe a Necron res strat, things like that, like really force the opponent to be like, do I want to spend 2, 3, maybe even 4 if it's disgustingly resilient Death Guard, stuff like that? Can I or should I spend all these frickin' bucks to do that ability? The answer is usually no. So whilst my force is very character and melee focused, there's also this secondary control of like, you're not doing abilities.
Shutting down half of their detachment, right?
Exactly. So this is going to hit fast, hard, because you've got the Arjac, you've got the Headtakers, and you've got the 2 Vectors. Like, not bad.
Seems pretty good.
And that's almost exclusively the new wave with an Impulsor and an Allied Assassin. Crazy.
Crazy
Cupcakes. And if I was to actually paint these, I was at the zoo the other day, actually. Funnily enough, there was a wolf pen at the zoo, but the wolf was hiding because I think they don't like crowds. They don't want the crowds to know they're there, I guess. So I didn't actually see the wolf, but we did see a red fox. And my girlfriend's like, oh, 'cause she knew I was doing Space Wolf with you soon. That would be a really cool scheme for Space Wolves. I'm like, babe, that's a fox. Yeah, but the red with the like white belly, that could look cool. And I don't disagree.
So that's the plan.
Yeah, like an orangey red with the white underbelly. Not bad.
Not bad at all. I dig it.
I do have a little caveat of things that are missing and what could be added next if you want to hear it real quick.
Sure, that we can rock through that quickly before jumping off.
Yeah. So what's missing from, what has existed at some point? Because Space Wolves have been here since the beginning of 40k, before it was even called 40k. But what is missing? Santa Claus Logan, so Logan Grimnar on his chariot. I think, there's options here to have one or the other. Why not? It's quite derpy, but why not?
Nah, we don't need a chariot, but sure, go on.
Well, it is missing. We don't necessarily need it, but it is missing. It used to exist. Lucas the Trickster, a named Bloodclaw character who has a novel, who used to exist. He's kind of the Space Wolves Loki, if you will. He's done some absolute shenanigans by like tricking very powerful entities into, having their plan fall apart kind of deal. He's not very well liked by the other Space Wolves because he's quite aloof and ridiculous, but he's there. There used to be an epic hero called Crom Dragongaze, another of the sort of captains of the various companies. Crom Dragongaze's silhouette has pretty much been replaced by the Wolfguard battle leader, which again, like you could have done something to make him still exist, but whatever. There used to be a Thunderwolf Lord unit, a leader for the Thunderwolf Cav, and there used to be a epic hero called Canis Wolfborn, who was a twin Lightning Claws guy atop a monstrous armored Thunderwolf. He used to have a mini, and now he doesn't. Canis Wolfborn is the sort of personal bodyguard to another of the great captains called Harold Deathwolf, but he's an axe and shield guy atop a Thunderwolf. I don't know if he ever had a mini besides like a narrative conversion, but I mean, you could have triple kitted that. There used to be as well, Jonny, Terminator characters. There used to be a Rune Priest in Terminator armor, as well as a Space Wolf Terminator Lord.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Back in the Firstborn era, there used to be Sky Claws and Long Fangs, which are basically just Jump Pack Astartes and Devastators, but they had beards and claws instead, It's kind of it. They used to have a unique aircraft called a Stormfang / Storm Wolf. The aircraft apparently was quite good even in 10th edition, but now it's not supported.
What?
There used to be a Cyber Wolf, which was exactly as it sounds, a wolf with bionics that used to be somewhat of like an Iron Priest tag team. Could have been cool. And I did see a mention of a Land Raider conversion called the Wrath of Mjolnir, which I believe was a narrative conversion for a White Dwarf thing, but it was a Land Raider armed with Hellfrost cannons, big Hellfrost guns, which could have been pretty sick.
Yeah, for sure. So there's always more room for them to move.
Yeah, so what could they add next? Like in the next edition or the edition after, or an 11th edition start set versus Chikari if you want. I think Lucas could come back within a campaign. Why not? He could just be there foiling the plot of some Chaos Lord. Why not? That's what he does. He could come back, lead a Bloodclaw, do something new. And then there's like a couple of options. I think you could either do the company known as the Death Wolves, which would, resculpt the Thunderwolf Cav with the Wolf Lord, Harold, Canis, Fenrisian Wolves, Cyber Wolves, all that stuff. Bring wolves back. It's fucking Space Wolves. Jesus. That would be 5 kits potentially, not too egregious. Or you could go with what I'm calling the Hellfrost package. You could have a new Iron Priest. You could have new Longfangs as like a Devastator Desolation Squad alternative, but with Hellfrost weaponry. You could bring back the Iron Wolves, which is another of the great companies to really shoehorn all that in. And because of the Iron Wolves mention, I'm going to leave you, Jonny, with a little tidbit of lore of a guy named Egil Ironwolf, the previous captain of the Iron Wolves. Are you ready?
Yeah, go on.
So when the Thousand Suns were being brought into the game, there was Warzone Fenris as the supplement, right? It was a little campaign book. In the lore of Warzone Fenris, Magnus has come to Fenris to beat them up, you know?
My boy.
Egil Ironwolf, he was present. He and his company were trying to slow the advance of the Thousand Suns, and in particular Magnus. Egil Ironwolf had his big ol' Hellfrosty las cannon aimed at square at Magnus, pulled the trigger. Magnus said, froze the Hellfrost beam in midair, and then psychically brought Egil in front of it. And then Egil was no more, as his own weaponry essentially disintegrated him from the torso up.
Well, he doesn't have a mini anymore.
And that's the lore bite I had for you there, my friend.
Oh, I love you, Magnus.
Yeah, that's fucking Space Wolves in a 2.5 hour nutshell.
Far out.
As we do these Courtesy reviews, we're getting a bit more into the nitty gritty, having some more...
Yeah, trying to mix things up a little bit, change the way we do it.
Not all of our episodes are going to be like this. Good chance, actually, that I won't be able to edit this in time for releasing this week that we are recording. Good chance that the second Space Wolf lore bite will come out before this one, and then this will release after. Good chance.
Well, you mentioned the lore bite in this episode.
Ah, well, I don't think people are going to take me to court over
it. Just delete
that.
Don't
do it. Don't do it. Yeah, maybe I will, eh?
Well, that is Codex Space Marines.
Space Wolves.
Yeah, Space Marines. That's what they are, right?
True.
Tell me I'm wrong.
You're not wrong. So what we got left? We got Codex Supplement Black Templars, which, Jonny, they don't have Oath of Moment.
Wait, they don't?
They don't. They have Templar Vows.
Oh, that might actually be interesting.
Yeah, a lot of the Oath of Moment re-rolly stuff is actually put into some of their leaders, but we'll get there one day. Black Templars, Grey Knights have come out as well. Well, will be coming out, I mean, they're in pre-order. Imperial Knights and Votan will be coming after that. Hopefully, we get Drukhari this edition, but we might not. And that will be 10th edition, Jonny.
Damn. I hope they do something before they change editions. We can't be at the end already.
Good chance we have a new end of campaign stuff. We had Arcs of Omen. We've had Psychic Awakening.
Yeah.
Like, they usually do something, even if it's only for like 3 or 4 months. Any closing remarks, matey?
Space Marines are boring.
Kind of.
Not enough chaos.
Cool. What do you think about Chaos Wolves?
Space Wolves were... I feel like I had so much hype and there was so much potential, and it kind of just let me down a little bit. But the new models look absolutely sick.
Yeah, do you remember when we were first starting out this pod, our golden rule?
Oh, which one?
Rules are temporary, but models are forever.
Yeah. But I have a long list of armies I need to complete.
Absolutely you do.
But that will be us for today.
Absolutely you do. And absolutely it will be. Got to rest these voice boxes of ours now.
That's it. I hope you all have a lovely time. Make sure you check out the Instagrams, the YouTubes, the Discord, all of the stuff and the things. Come say hi. Make sure you do your hobbying. Armies of Parade is coming up. I got a lot to get done.
# link in bio.
Oh my gosh. Subscribe.
Like, subscribe, ring the bell. Oh!